2026 ONVO L60 is not just getting a small update, it is getting the kind of upgrades that actually change how this car feels every day. From assisted driving hardware on the roof to a smarter rear cabin, better comfort, and the one feature that should have been there from the beginning, proper manual sunblinds. This is still the entry point into NIO's battery swap ecosystem, but now it feels more complete, more usable, and more honest about what real family EV buyers actually need. Before we begin, please subscribe to RLC Auto channel and press the bell icon, then set it to all so you receive notifications first whenever a new, honest, unbiased car review is uploaded. From the outside, the biggest visible change is on the roof, where the 2026 ONVO L60 receives the same assisted driving upgrade as the 2026 ONVO L90, including LiDAR and the updated hardware setup. But the more important part of the L60's exterior story is still its shape. Compared with a more traditional two-box upright SUV like the Ion LX, the ONVO L60 is much more slippery through the air, and that aerodynamic shape becomes a real advantage on the highway. In testing against the Tesla Model Y, which is described as the gold standard for efficiency, the ONVO L60 only lost by 0.1 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers at an average speed of around 107 to 109 kilometers per hour, despite offering more space and more equipment. Because aerodynamic drag becomes more important as speed rises, this shape gives the L60 a clear advantage for long highway driving, especially when compared with a larger vehicle like the ONVO L90. Inside, the 2026 ONVO L60 gets several useful upgrades, but one stands above everything else. The second row now receives a 17.3-inch top-mounted display, which is smaller than the 21-inch screen in the Li Auto i6, but because passengers sit closer to it, the viewing distance and visual size still feel acceptable. The L60 also now gets a fridge, but the biggest cabin upgrade is the arrival of manual sunblinds. Previously, the panoramic glass roof followed the same idea as the Tesla Model Y, meaning no physical sunblind, and on a hot day with 35 degrees Celsius, direct sunlight, and 80% humidity, that made the cabin feel badly exposed. Now, the sunblinds solved that problem without taking away headroom, because the limiting factor remains the same trim as before. Up front, the cabin is largely familiar, but it feels incrementally better than the previous model year, and there is also a very nice green interior color option that feels worth paying extra for. Still, the interior does not completely beat the Zeekr 7X, because that car costs about 10% more, but its cabin feels around 25 to 30% nicer. Dynamically, there is no major change, but the 2026 ONVO L60 now runs the NX931 chip, the same chip used in the 2026 ONVO L90, as well as the NIO S8 and S9. The driving test focused on a beta version of the Next software in Guangzhou, a city with very complex traffic, narrow roads, electric scooters, bikes, cars, and a lot of unpredictable movement. Because of a navigation error, the car was not following a preset tested route, so the experience became more real-world than planned. The system handled left turns, scooters, incoming traffic, and pedestrian crossings reasonably well, but it was still slightly too slow in some moments. On a closed-off city ring road, it took a corner at around 30 kilometers per hour, even though the speed limit was 60, which caused traffic to build up behind the car. So the assisted driving upgrade is clearly important, but it still needs more confidence and speed in certain situations. The real reason to buy the ONVO L60 is not just the lower price compared to the Zeekr 7X, it's battery swap and everything that comes with it. Unless you live in places like Tibet or Xinjiang, where the battery swap network is still not fully ready, most of China is covered by the strongest battery swap network available for any electric vehicle. That changes how you use an EV, because on ultra-long distance trips, the limiting factor is not only single charge range, but how many supercharging stations or battery swap stations are available around you.
The Zeekr 7X may offer longer range, but it cannot battery swap. For the best version, the recommendation is simple. Choose the cheapest entry-level L60 with the 60 kilowatt-hour battery, low-drag standard wheels, single-motor rear-wheel drive, and 320 horsepower. Do not bother with four-wheel drive unless you live in a very snowy area, and avoid the fancy wheels if highway efficiency matters to you. The biggest pros are battery swap, slippery aero, and improved assisted driving hardware, rear screen, fridge, and manual sunblinds, and excellent long-distance usability. The main cons are that the interior still loses to the Zeekr 7X, and the new driving assist software can feel too slow in complex city driving. Final verdict, the cheapest ONVO L60 is still the best ONVO L60, and with battery swap, slippery aero, and the new comfort upgrades, it remains one of the smartest entry points into NIO's ecosystem. Now watch the next end screen video for another honest car review from RLC Auto Channel.